Transaction, Fridays on CNBC, sponsored by Thinkorswim.
I'm Mary Thompson at the Breaking News Desk. CNBC has learned federal investigators are looking at possible financial malfeasance at a Long Island-based firm. A search warrant was executed today for Hauppauge-based Agape World. Earlier today, a group of frustrated clients gathered outside the firm's offices, headquartered in this building in Hauppauge. Agape World claims to offer bridge or short-term loans to commercial real estate projects. Clients who asked not to be identified told CNBC they were promised returns on their money of 12 to 14%, but they say the checks stopped coming last summer. In a note placed on the door, Agape says because the clients it lent money to aren't paying their loans, it can't pay its investors, though some weren't buying that line today.
Go ahead, tough guy. Look. No. Go ahead. I'm one of them that made the complaint to the FBI. Everything. You're going to find out, tough guy. You screwed a lot of people. All of yous.
Investor Nick Restivo says he invested a six-figure amount with Agape in April and hasn't been able to get his money back.
I know other people that have over $500,000, family members. This is not just one person. One person brings in another person, and they tell another person, and then it builds from there.
Melissa, this is a developing story, and we'll have updates as the news breaks on that. Back to you.
All right, Mary Thompson, thanks so much. The biggest housing price decline in more than 70 years managed to bring out bargain hunters, pushing up sales of existing homes by 6.5% in December. Is this a signal that the worst is over for the housing market? We should be so lucky. Joining our discussion, Fred Glick, CEO of U.S. Loans Mortgage, and also David Sloan, senior economist at Forecast. Thanks to both of you for joining us. David, let me start with you. What is your impression of this data? Because existing home sales rose 6.5%. We know that a lot of that is because of foreclosures. Is that a sign that maybe we're seeing markets clear a bit? The people who weren't going to pay aren't paying, they're mailing in the keys or they're walking away, and we're seeing some of the clearing happen.
Well, I think we're seeing house price falls have been sufficient to attract buyers in the West. The West is the one area of the four that is up year on year, on close to 30%. But the other three regions of the country, the sales are still down by about 10%, and house prices haven't fallen so far there. So I think we're probably seeing the market clearing somewhat in the West, but not overall. I think the rise in sales in December has to be put in the context of an even steeper decline in sales in November. Existing home sales were reasonably stable in the first three quarters of the year, but they have fallen in the fourth quarter. So this number, while stronger than expected, is still not very impressive.
Fred, you're a mortgage broker. I mean, how hard is it to get a loan right now? We hear, discrepancies about it. Banks are out there lending. No, they're not. What's the truth from your perspective?
Pretty much, if you have good income, if you have decent credit, and you have equity in your property, it's not really a problem. We've taken out the 20–30% of the people who couldn't verify their income or had bad credit. They're gone. Yeah. And they'll be gone for a long time.
What about jumbos? Can people get jumbo loans right now, non-conforming loans?
There are. It's so goofy the way Fannie Mae does it. By your county you live in is the jumbo limit, or they call it super conforming now to come up with some silly name. But there are a couple of lenders that actually portfolio their own loans that you can do, even up to $5 million at pretty decent rates.
Yeah. David, what do you think is the solution to this problem? Is it just time? A lot of people have called for reducing the principal on a lot of these loans. I don't know if that's even possible to get everyone together to make that decision, but what do you think the solution is to the housing problem?
I think time is really the easiest solution to say. I think really we have to allow prices to fall sufficiently far to bring supply and demand back into balance. I think in California, or at least in the west of the country, with problems particularly in California, we've seen prices down about 30% year on year. That is bringing buyers back into the market. In other parts of the country, the price is probably down 10% or less, and that's really not enough to attract significant amount of buyers yet. Unfortunately, I think the West was the first region into the crisis, be the first region out. The other regions will take a bit longer to recover.
Fred, what do you think the solution is?
Jobs, 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 and then confidence. That's all it's about. What you're
Really?
seeing...
So you don't think the government needs to get involved and needs to restructure loans and needs to bring the principal down on this debt?
I have a whole way. It would probably take me an hour to really go over all of it.
Give us a quick version.
Okay, I know. I actually think the government should be the ones lending money and having one set of criteria that everybody can just borrow that way, and then they can package their own mortgage backs. We don't even need banks. This would get them out of the way and let them solve the problem that they have. The markdowns are going to happen because of the market. And if we get the jobs, the people are going to be able to buy. It's really kind of that simple.
Yeah.
And what you got to look at from these numbers, NAR kind of drives me crazy with throwing this giant national number out.
Yeah.
When really it's all about micro markets. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's true. It's all local. It's all depends on your block. All right, guys, we have to leave it there. We're out of time. Very interesting, though, Fred and Dave. Thanks to both of you for joining us.
Thank you, Melissa.
Straight ahead, only 4 sectors were expected to post positive fourth-quarter earnings, but so far, it's been kind of a party for one. Find out which sector is lonely at the top when we come on back.
Your rate shouldn't be pulled out.